I've never seen a diamond in the flesh. I cut my teeth on wedding rings.
Dude, that's pretty cool.
Man, that is
I'm the
that
sad
is a
clown.
sad
That's
clown.
Proud of my address.
Dude, that's pretty good. For sure.
Oh man, we got to do that, and then we got to like cut to like something really badass. Like I
Yeah.
think it's I think it's the
Dude,
sad
that's a good
clown,
idea.
and then yeah. What? So tell me what you're thinking here. Why? What are the challenges we're trying to overcome with this
Well,
whole
I think,
deal?
yeah, definitely one of them. And Sparty kind of hit on it was to, increase awareness for second F and third F opportunities. And hopefully that would kind of invigorate or, kind of at least rejuvenate the guys and maybe come up with some new ideas for second F and third F opportunities. Like I said, I think a lot of the second half opportunities are centered around going to get a happy hour, which is cool. I mean, I don't have a problem with that, but I know I will never probably see you there at one of those second half opportunities. So I think it just kind of, unfortunately, our opportunities exclude people, and I don't think it's intentional by any means. But we can keep having happy hours, but we could have different forms too. So I don't know what that is or what that looks like, but that, and I definitely, going off of what you said this morning, I think it would be a great tool to kind of just, a central place for announcements, because I think it kind of gets lost in the shuffle. I think not everyone is that great at saying, hey guys, this is what's going on this week. I myself, even as a site Q, have trouble sometimes remembering everything that needs to be said during announcements at the close of COT or something, so.
Yeah, well, and I mean, just seeing you here on the Zoom, it's clear that you're working out, right? I mean, you look great, and it's clear that guys are accelerating in the first F. And so I think, how do we introduce PAX members to other members of the PAX in a way that helps them build relationships and excel in the second and third F, right? Because maybe a second F event is just like 3 or 4 guys going and hanging out in an area
Right.
that they have in common. I mean, I think that's, being in men's choir, a little selfish plug there. That's a second F thing, right? That was a lot of fun. Working with Sportiva and Clorox, and then Grills was doing handbells, which, we got to get him in the choir. But yeah,
we need video
love it, man. I think
that.
yeah. Well, definitely think it's something we got to do. So as we're trying to just figure out the approach, my thought, and you can give me some feedback on this, but we're really hoping to just start with wait time, start with the man-tan, and just go from there, and just interview guys, asking them a set of questions to get to know them a little bit more, connect them with the PAX, and then each episode would have just a brief announcement section. That seem like what you're talking about.
Yeah, no, I think that'd be good. And I think Wait Time is definitely a good person to kick it off with, because he can kind of let him, give the background of why it even started here, and kind of explain how it's grown since then, and I don't know, his experience with it in North Carolina, and then how he sees how we maybe compare to them and how we're different, and maybe in ways that we could learn from them and ways that we've done a better job than picking up new things or implementing things that are unique to us, like cafeteria obviously being one.
Yeah. What should we call this thing?
Dude, the Gloom. That's the sickest. I think that's
the Gloom. The Gloom. Yeah.
I think that's a great name.
GLUEOOM. The Gloom. I don't know how you say it. How are we going to pronounce it?
Dude, you just pronounce it Gloom, but you spell it
the Gloom.
GLU. Yeah, dude, I think that's a great name, and everyone knows what it is, and it's the glue that keeps everyone together, but it's also the gloom, as in everyone will see out there. So.
Yeah. Okay. No, I like it. What do you think we should do for intro music? You want to sing a little something, or?
No, maybe we should get Girls on the Handbells, I guess. No, I don't. All right, whatever your preference there. No, like I told you this morning, I actually just told Paige, I was like, just like everything in F3 or every workout ever planned, this is going to be the greatest thing we've ever done, or a complete disaster, but a ton of fun. So as long as it falls within one of those two, I'm good.
Yeah, it'll be both. I think it'll be, there might be some episodes, depending on who it is we're interviewing. It could be we'll just have to keep them on track. So is this our first episode then, or what?
Yeah, man, I guess.
I've been recording the whole time, so we got a ton of content here.
Great.
Yeah. I think we just gotta circulate it. I think, and then we can put it out on kind of more administrative, but SoundCloud. And then I actually have, what I might actually do is use I might just rebrand the one that I already had, and then it would just, it would be out on all the different platforms, and we'd rename it, The Gloom, F3, The Gloom.
Yeah. How do we feel about
GLU.
do we need to get any administrative approval, I guess, on the F3 side from Arnantan?
Hey,
Tater Tot, we're just asking for forgiveness right now.
Yep, Tater, this is us asking you. Let us know what you think of the first episode here. Well, we got a few minutes left, Pony. I guess, what's your real name anyway?
Yeah, John Whitworth is my real birth name. 29 years old. Pony Express.
Hey.
Hate for about another 4 months, but I'm relishing it, man.
Nice, man. Who brought you out?
Yeah, so a PAX member that goes by the name Honk Honk, and you've got to do the visual trucker horn when you're calling out his name, and if you see him. So he brought me out. Been coming on 2 years in I believe June this year. So
that's crazy, man. How do you know Honk Honk?
So Honk Honk and I worked together. He kind of challenged me to come out. I was working out at the time and lifting weights primarily, and maybe picking up a run here or there like once a month, thinking that was enough. And he's like, "Hey man, I joined this group. They're pretty badass, and these workouts are pretty tough." I'm like, "I mean, I work out, man. What do you mean? Like, what's tough?" And he's like, "Oh well, I mean, I don't know if you can do it." And that just like my ego instantly was like, "Oh, I'm there. When's the next time you're there?" I showed up to the next workout thinking I was going to kill it. And I tell this story all the time, but I go to the workout, I'm working out, and it's kicking my ass. I mean, I'm just dying. I'm about to spill Merlot everywhere. I think Nodos is actually leading on the queue, and it's one of these workouts where it's a 3-man grinder, and we're running over 100 yards and back. And part of the run is back uphill. And I had this thing in my head where I'm like, I don't know anybody here. I don't owe them anything. I'm about to quit. Like, I don't owe them anything. Like, what am I doing to myself? And then I think it was Mufasa or someone else came up behind me, just slapped me on the ass and said, "Hey man, get it in gear." And I mean, instantly something clicked for me, and I just kept going and pushed through. And I think that's kind of what's been great about this whole thing is there are times where it sucks to get out in the gloom, like especially in winter time and winter quarters. It's brutal. I mean, here in Nebraska, we have like -12, -20 days. And really the glue keeping us together is all these other packs that are doing it with you. Sometimes it's a text from you or Slow Pitch or someone like, "Hey, do you want to hit a pre-run tomorrow?" Or, "Hey, am I going to see you? Where are you posting?" And that's enough to get me to even consider coming out. I mean, there's days where you don't want to do it, but then you have, either a shield lock here or just one of the packs. Maybe it's a newer guy that you're trying to EH or a guy that you made a commitment to, and you want to see him through and kind of be his glue. I think those are some of the things that kept me coming back, honestly.
Where do you think you're at with all three Fs? I mean, you think, I'm clearly fitness. You still are not a very good runner. We all know that. But where are you at with all of those things?
Yeah. So I think you kind of alluded to the first F component of something that we're very good at. We've got hundreds of members in Omaha that are posting regularly, which is great. And I don't think a lot of AOs or regions across the country are as blessed as we are to have this many individuals coming and posting on a regular basis. In regards to second F and third F, I see myself like wanting more of those opportunities, particularly in second F. I think we do a very good job of doing First Friday lunches, opportunities like that are recurring. But I think we're kind of missing the smaller gatherings, I guess you should say. Some of our second F opportunities are large groups, and the whole idea of these workout groups are supposed to be centered around small workout groups and small gatherings. And that's why we starfish and open new AOs and do all these things. And so we often miss that component that you alluded to of, hey, what about a group of 4 or 5 guys that are just going to meet for a night for dinner or something like that? We do a good job of planning these big events and having guys show up for these bigger events, but we're kind of lacking on those smaller events. In regards to 3F, I think the third F is kind of a delicate piece because, while we're not predominantly one denomination or promoting one thing over another, I think people naturally gravitate to people that are like-minded in these 3F opportunities. And so finding a group or finding events or something along those lines can be, I'm trying to find the right words here, can be difficult to be inclusive of the whole group. I think recently we've done the new book study, and most of the books that we've done are based off the Christian religion, which is, a principal foundation of my life, and I know of your life as well. And those are great. But I think we could maybe do a little bit more outreach in certain areas, and that's kind of hard because I don't really understand that perspective, I guess. And so it's very difficult for me to reach out and be, okay, I'm going to lead the charge in this area where we could be incorporating more people with this viewpoint or promoting a different idea when I don't have that perspective. And so that's just kind of the battle I think that we may be having and that I'm personally having with the third F. I don't know. What are your thoughts on it?
I think I've known people that have a higher power that they call God that's a rock, like an actual gemstone. I've known people that are of all different faith backgrounds. And I think the main thing is really what is the higher power that's in control of it all, that's not you. What's the thing outside of you that is really orchestrating life? And, in F3 terms, we'd call that the flux, right? The day-to-day things like, life on life's terms. Is not something that we can control. And I think when guys try to control that, it gets really messy. And so it's how do we just promote development of that idea or thought process where it's, you're not the center of the world or even of your own world. You're really one piece of a larger puzzle. I think the book studies have been really interesting. And, for guys that maybe don't know what we're talking about, there's a Tuesday morning group doing some book studies. And those have been really, really good because I think just hearing, even within the Christian faith or religion, you still hear different perspectives from different backgrounds, like somebody that maybe grew up in a Catholic background versus Lutheran versus, non-denominational. All of those things are coming together. And even that, I think there's room for us to just keep those things moving forward. But I like that, man. It sounds like you're putting in some time in all 3 areas, or at least some thought, which is, I think, where it's really important. What, from just your experience, like you mentioned a little bit, you were talking about shield lock and kind of some concepts from Q source or maybe the Concentrica. I mean, how does Free to Lead, Q source, what's been your experience with those specific books or?
Yeah, so I'm probably one of the worst site Qs known to man. I think I got roped into it, and I love the idea of it. And it's been great. Like having the opportunity to be a site Q has been amazing, and I've been able to build my leadership in that way. But Khakis has actually given me crap for not reading Free to Lead yet. And now I don't know if that's a prerequisite to actually becoming a site Q or not, but I don't have any experience with it. In regards to Q source, there's obviously I haven't gone to a Q source here at F3 that we put on Fridays or I believe Wednesdays, but I have gone to the F3 national page and actually looked through some of those things. Those are kind of some buzzwords that get thrown out, and at first, especially at newer packs, I had no idea what some of those things were. Like shield lock was something that like I really felt like got hot during the start of the pandemic. Like I had no idea what it was, but the pandemic hit, and then everyone's saying shield lock, everyone form a shield lock. I'm like, oh well, shit, what is that? So I need to go figure out what that is. I'm like, oh, okay, it's like a group of 4 or 5 guys where like they're holding me accountable. We can rely on each other. This is kind of the forefront of this idea of like, it's almost a microcosm of F3 in itself, right? The shield lock, I feel like, is a group of 4 or 5 a small group of guys that are relying on each other to get through these certain tasks that you can rely on and do certain things. So, yeah, again, not a ton of experience with the free to lead, sorry khakis, and I know Safe Ride's giving me grief about it too, but that's just it, yeah.
That's, all future site cues are required. That's required reading there. So
that's the pony rule, actually.
Yeah, I would encourage anyone that hasn't read that just to read it. And and that's, I think there's opportunity for us to, host a book study on that particular content, just so guys do have that shared language. And just all those concepts in there are really, really important. Couple questions here just to kind of, just get a glimpse of where you're headed, maybe what, as you've been accelerating in these areas. The concept of D2X, are you familiar with that? When we say
I'm not, you're gonna have to inform me, brother.
So D2X, right, it's your dolphin and your daffodil. It's what's the thing you do better than anybody else, and what is the people group or the group that you're meant to serve. And it's really trying to answer this question: what's your purpose, right? Who are you and what's your purpose? You feel like are you headed in that direction, or what are some next steps you've got to get there?
Well, boy, that's a pretty profound question of what am I best at, and am I working toward that life purpose? I couldn't give that to you right now. I think one thing that, and this sounds weird because you're just self-evaluating yourself for public scrutiny here, but I think one thing that I pride myself on being very good is, I do genuinely care about how people are feeling in a certain moment. So I may consider myself better than Plague at welcoming new packs. Now that may not be true, but I feel like I can put myself in a situation where, hey, newer individuals or people that I can witness and say, oh, they're new to this environment. I feel like I do a good job of going out of my way and saying, hey guys, what's going on? Is this your first time here? This is awesome. You're coming here. Who brought you here? What's going on? Now, how does that serve my life purpose? I don't know. I don't know that answer. If I can give you something that I feel like I'm good at, I feel like that's it. So,
yeah, you're good, man.
This is terrible.
Question.
For a first go around to ask these questions as someone who is like so illiterate and all this. Well, I guess the only way that this can go is up for this podcast.
That's right, man. That's right. Well, we figured if we started with you, then, everybody else would just, they'd be like, oh, I at least have an answer to that. No, absolutely. It's one of those things, right? When you look at the mission, right? If we're plant and grow small workout groups for the invigoration of male community leadership, and you try to figure out, well, how does that happen, right? How does a small workout group invigorate male community leadership? And it's through this process, right? It's, guys come in, they accelerate in the first step, they build some strong relationships, they figure out who they are. And through all of that, once you figure out who you are and the group you're meant to serve, well, then there it is, right? Invigorated male community leadership. But you don't really get that. The world is not looking for a bunch of really fit, good-looking guys to roam the streets. That is not male community leadership. And that's where I think that the purpose of these conversations will come in, right? And it's just asking the question and realizing you don't have an answer is enough to make you seek for it. Yeah. That's a win. That's a win. So I think, appreciate you being vulnerable there. All right. A couple of questions, a little bit easier here. What is your least favorite exercise and why?
This is tough. My least favorite pain wise are monkey humpers, but they are one of my favorites because of how they're utilized. If we go to the woodshed and we go to the creepy corner and someone calls up monkey humpers and we've got cars driving by, that's awesome. It sucks, but it's awesome in its own right. So that's probably the worst.
That's a little bit creepy, but on a creepy corner, it's all right. Last question here. Just what would you say to an FNG? Guy shows up to his first workout today. What would be your encouragement to him, or something he should do within F3?
Yeah, no, that's tough. There's a couple things, but if I had to choose one, I'd just say keep coming, man. It almost reminds me of the old Adam and like AA. It works if you keep working it. If you work the steps, it works. If you keep coming back. There's something to be said about just continually, like, just putting in the work. And I think we do a great job by providing opportunities like cafeteria, which can be glue for a lot of guys. I know it was for me. Khakis invited me to cafeteria, and that was enough for me. So maybe I'd say, hey, come to cafeteria afterwards. That's another good one. But just keep coming, man. You'll never know anyone's real name, but you'll start to pick up the names, and then they just become family after a while. So just keep coming.
Heck yeah, man. Like we should, I figure we should just end these shows with a good joke. So I was gonna just say, I have really good faith in the glue police, because they usually stick to their word. And that is the glue.
That was pretty good.
Thanks for that, Tony.
All right.